Yo, I'm glad you like the song. Let's see, how'd it go? Like, don't you ever stop and think sometimes? Could have been us, could have been wonderful, yes, oh yes. Found a new love in your life. Could have been us, could have been wonderful, yes, oh yes. Something about it don't sit right. Could have been us, could have been wonderful, wonderful, yes. Something like that.
Hi, hello, and welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Guys, this is going to be story time. And when I say story time, I mean my own personal story. This is a real life story. This is something that happened to myself. And one of the reasons why I speak about the things I speak about over here. Before I get into my story, if you are not subscribed, I urge you to please subscribe for content like this and much more. I do live streams, I talk about religion, living religion, and how people can be good without religion. That's the kind of things I love to talk about. It is possible to live life without a religion. It is possible to live an existence whereby there is no God at all. And you can be fulfilled. You can be, you can live a very, very happy, enjoyable life without God and religion. So, if this is the kind of thing that you're interested in, you don't have to be an atheist like me. Make sure to subscribe. If you want to get into these kind of conversations, listen, when I come on, you can engage. I do live streams. I upload short videos and it's a variety. So go ahead and subscribe, turn on your notification bells. And for those of you who have been subscribed, I thank you for your subscription. For those of you who engage with me in the live streams and in the comments, I thank you. Without you, I would not be here at all. For those of you who take your time to listen to my videos, thank you very much. And for those people who have supported the channel members, you guys are amazing. And the people who have contributed in super chats and super stickers, thank you. Okay, story time. Guys, I was called a witch. I was accused of witchcraft. Before I get into the story itself, I will give you the context. So, I was married when this happened, and as a someone who is married to a Nigerian husband at the time, there were expectations of the wife, and some of the expectations were that when your in-laws visited, you waited on them hand and foot, right? You had to take care of your in-laws. You feed them, you make sure that they're okay while you're there. The role of the woman is quite intense in the African home because as far as some Africans are concerned, when you marry their son, you not only marry their son, you marry the entire family. So you have to get on with everybody. That was the way this particular set of people saw things. And so, living in London, we had a small flat, but the flat was adequate for myself and my ex and my two boys. Two-bedroom flat. So it was two bedrooms. Me and my husband shared one room, and the two boys shared one room. And so, my ex's father and mother They were visiting. Now, my ex's dad, he was ill. He was really very ill, very poorly. He was undergoing cancer treatment at the time. So, and guys, this is not to disrespect anyone, but the person who accused me of witchcraft, he's no longer with us. He's gone now. Uh, so his family came, his father and mother. So my boys had to give up their bedroom for his father and mother. And there was me, him, and the two boys in our room. So four of us and two of them. It was very inconvenient. Very inconvenient because it was a really small flat. And you had to cook for them. You had to make sure they were okay. He would go to work because my son was still very young at the time. I was a stay-at-home mom at this time. So I was home most of the time, looking after baby. So his dad was very poorly and had been to the hospital. Now, we lived on the 19th floor, and his dad was so poorly. His mom was she was older as well, an older woman. There's not a lot she could do. So most of the work fell on me. I was like a slave in my own home, waiting on these people hand and foot. They took over the TV, they took over the living room. It, look, and this was always a regular occurrence, especially his mother. She would visit from time to time, and when she visits, she didn't like me. She didn't like me. So it was always a huge struggle. But now you must understand that my ex's parents were ordained pastors. They were ordained pastors. Read their Bible, they were strong in the Christ, all of that stuff, right? So already I was in a very um uncomfortable situation, very uncomfortable in my own home. I couldn't really hang out in my living room again because they're there. My boys and me and my ex, everybody were all stuffed in one room. It was just too much. I asked my ex, how long are they staying? And that would cause an argument. So you want my parents to leave? Why are you asking me? Are you not supposed to be thankful? Are you not supposed, it would always cause. All I wanted was just tell me, because usually what used to happen, he never would tell me that they were coming until a day or two. And then he would say, oh, but when they come, they're only stopping for a week. And when they come, they stay for 6 weeks at a time. He would tell me, oh, they're only stopping for a few days. And it would last weeks. Because once they are in, you can't get them out. Because how do you want to kick out your elderly in-laws? Are you crazy? You mad? So Saturday morning came. Before the Saturday morning, the night before, well, I don't remember the details 100%. Saturday morning, about 7 o'clock, 7:30 ish, I hear the commotion going on in the next room where they were sleeping. My two boys were fast asleep. My ex was at work. I heard his father going on. That girl is a witch. That girl is a witch. I knew it. All this while, she is the witch. I knew it. I wasn't sure who he was talking about. The walls were very thin, so I could hear what was going on. He started telling his wife, get the phone, get the phone, and ring everybody and tell them about that girl. That girl is evil. That girl is a witch. I didn't know who they were talking about because I was just in the room terrified. They, he was saying to her, get the phone and call all the other family members who are here in London. They all must make their way to this house now. I needed to be sure what's going on. I could hear her saying to him, oh, but just, you just woke up. Maybe just give yourself. No, 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 no. I know what I'm talking about. I saw her in my dream. That girl is a witch. And then he said the words. He said, Esther is a witch. When I heard that, I knew then that he was talking about me. I snuck into the bathroom, grabbed the boys' toothbrushes, and ran back into my room. Grabbed some clothes, got a bag, bagged the clothes up. I woke the boys up on a Saturday morning. I woke them up and took them. I left the house because he had called for their family members to gather at my home. My ex was at work. I was not going to let them come and meet me in that house. Who knows what will happen to me? I was not going to let that happen. Now, when I first heard him going on, I called my ex. Said, look, something's happening and I don't know what's happening. And then he said, they've called me and they've told me that dad has told me what's going on. Yes, I know that dad is accusing you of something. He said, now let me tell you what the dream was about. The dream that my ex father in law, he's no longer with us now. He had a dream that night, the Friday night. He had a dream. And in his dream, I brought him oranges. I was offering him oranges in his dream. Now, these people are religious, Christians, but they're also superstitious. So, and this superstition is that anyone who offers you anything sweet in your dream is either planning to kill you or initiate you into the kingdom of darkness, into the devil's kingdom. So I brought oranges. I offered him oranges in his sleep. And that was it, guys. That was what made me a witch. That because I was offering him something sweet in his dream. That automatically made me a witch. And so my ex said to me, I've been told. They've called me and they've told me. I said, please don't worry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. That what happened that night, Friday night, after you'd gone to bed, dad had asked me for some oranges. He wanted oranges. And he was making his way to the bedroom and I told him to go. I will bring the oranges to him. He said by the time he was done cutting the oranges and finish off what he was doing, take the oranges to his dad. Dad had fallen asleep. So he left the oranges by the bedside, right? So dad went to bed thinking about oranges. And unfortunately, it was me he saw in his dream giving him the oranges. They tell them, these people that believe in this superstition, they tell them, if you are offered anything in your dream, you do not eat. You are not to eat in your dream. If you're dreaming and someone's about to offer you something, you must wake up. I don't know how you're. How can you? How can you take control of what happens in your unconscious? Anyway, they called for the family to gather at my home. I took the boys and I ran. Thankfully, my brother lived nearby. That morning, I ran with the two boys, woke them from their sleep. I didn't even let them go in the toilet or anything with their pajamas, bags, everything, and off we were to my brother's house. When I now, my ex, I told him, I said, I can't stay here because he was saying he's going to leave work and come. He's going to have to leave work because this is an emergency. He told me not to leave the house. I should stay. I said, no way, I'm leaving. And so he told me, he said, please, whatever you do, do not tell your family members what's happening in our home. I said, what do you mean? Not to tell my family members. They're going to ask me, what am I doing at their house at 7:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning? And you want me? I said, there's fire on the mountain in my home. You're here telling me not to tell my own brothers and sister and family what's going on in your house, in our house. You must be joking. I got to my brother's house. As I entered, I broke down. I will never forget. I broke down crying. I'd just been accused of witchcraft. I broke down. I cried my eyes out because I'll tell you why I cried. I was in the UK. The home we shared, me and my ex, we paid rent. So nobody was going to kick me out of my home in London. But if I'd lived in Nigeria, the story would have been different. The family would have gathered, and I don't know what could have happened. Probably taking me to somewhere to go and pray the evil spirit out of me. How do you get accused of something like that by a pastor? He was a pastor at that time. Accused me of something I haven't done. Guys, it's one of the worst periods of my life because being accused of witchcraft, it only takes one person to hear it, and that's it. You're vilified for life. If that man, the pastor, well respected pastor and member of society, if he could see that and say that, it must be true. Guys, my ex finally came and found me at my brother's house. And he said to me, oh, yeah, it's safe to come back home now. Are you sure? I said, yes, they're gone. I leave my brother's place with the boys. We go upstairs, right? And we go back home. Guys, when I got back home, my in laws had taken every single thing that belonged to them. They did not leave a pin, nothing, just they had cleared the family members. They came. My ex's sisters, they came. I didn't see them because I had ran with the boys. These people came. They had taken every single thing. It turns out my ex told me that they had said they don't want anything. They were trying to tell him that I was a witch and that he needs to leave me. If we were in Nigeria, they would have kicked me out with the boys. But we're not in Nigeria. It's a different system here. You can't kick. Are you crazy? You kick a woman out of the house with kids in Nigeria. That's you can do that. It happens all the time. But in the UK, it's impossible. And so he said they did not want any of their property in the house of a witch. They told my ex, you better leave her. If you're not going to leave her, well, we're leaving you to your to it. Do whatever you wish, but we were not staying. Not one more day is going to meet us in this house. They took every single, not even a pin was left over, and they left to his sister's house. His sister, a few days later, called me and said she sent me a message or something, said she wanted to see me. I went to go and see her at another of his sister's house. And the words from her mouth were, oh, before this, guys, before this, when I got back home, my ex was like, oh, they're gone now. At least you'll be happy that they're gone because I know you've been so stressed out. At least even I am relieved that they're gone. We can have our home back. I told him, I said, no, there's no relief. I need to know what your thoughts are. Your dad has just accused me of witchcraft. I need to know what you think about me. And I said, look, whatever you answer will mean, would determine what happens with this marriage. Your answer would determine where we go from here. I need to know from you what you think. Do you think I'm a witch or not? Because fathers have influence on their sons. So I need to know what his thoughts were. If you also think I'm a witch, what am I doing with you? And guys, I know some of you would think, oh, witch, what's wrong with witchcraft? Nothing wrong with it. No, in this part of the world, witchcraft means you're the devil's person. You are, well, guys, he then said, oh, no, 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 I don't think you're a witch. I said, if tomorrow you say it, you utter it from your mouth, dad was right, you're a witch, that would be the end. I can't have my own husband believing that I'm a witch. So the lady called me, said she wants to have a meeting with me, his sister, older sister. I go to meet her at another sister's house. And then she says, well, what happened. Dad is on some very strong medication for the cancer, and it sometimes makes him hallucinate. So it's possible that he was hallucinating because you said you work in the healthcare industry. You know what these drugs are like when they give them a very, very strong that just messes up there. I said, yes, I know. She said, so you must understand then why dad was saying those things. Okay, I said, yes, I do. Then she said, well, in our culture, an older person does not apologize to a younger person when they're wrong in their culture. It says we do not believe you're a witch. As a family, we do not believe. We think it's the medications that is taking. But we just wanted to let you know that we do not think that you are a witch at all. Don't I think she said she was apologizing on his behalf. Yeah, this is what she said. She's apologizing on his behalf. She said, but if I'm expecting an apology from him, myself, the one who accused me, she said it's never gonna happen because an older person does not apologize to a younger person in that culture, in that community. For all you know, that man may have just continued believing that I was a witch. He's no longer with us. He's, not too long afterwards, he died. So I don't know what his thoughts were afterwards, whether he carried on believing that I was a witch, because I don't know, just this whole witchcraft thing. So, but guys, that was my story of being called a witch, accused of being a witch. And that's why I speak up, speak up. Religion, these people that believe in this supernatural world, this world that somehow controls this one, it is very problematic because they accuse innocent people of doing things that they haven't done. Well, guys, religion itself is another problem. Look at when Jesus was healing that man. Jesus says he has evil spirits in him. He's trying to remove the evil spirits. So even Jesus, he subscribes to this spiritual realm. It's terrible. It's just, guys, well, that's my story. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have you been accused of witchcraft? Do you know anything about witchcraft and the evils the stigma attached? I know Dr. Leo Igwe, he does a lot of good work on witchcraft, helping the victims, the ones who have been accused of being witches. He supports, and so I will get the link for Dr. Leo's charity and put it in. Please make a donation. He's helping the people who have been accused of witchcraft, that have not been able to, they can't go to school, they can't do anything in the society. They just children sometimes. So guys, I listen. Thank you very much. This has been a very emotional subject for me, but I'm thankful that I lived in London. Thankful that at least today I can look back and tell the tale. So, guys, don't forget to like, don't forget to share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.